Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Bruce Dumont, president of the Museum of Broadcast Communications. Welcome. It's great to have you with us tonight. This is, without question, one of the biggest nights in the history of the museum, and we are so delighted that you're all with us tonight to share this piece of history. And it's history that really could not have happened without the generous support of Citibank. Let's give them a big round of applause. And also, NBC5 Chicago and its president, David Dobler, is here. David, thank you very much. Before we talk about tonight, just one quick plug for what's coming up on April 16th, Wednesday. It will be an evening with Bob Saget, starting at 7 o'clock. If you're interested in coming to see that, you go to our website, museum.tv for tickets. An evening with Bob Saget, and he's going to give the family version of his act. Maybe. Tonight, it is a very special night, as I just mentioned, because we are honoring Dick Wolf. An evening with Dick Wolf, and he's brought a few friends with him tonight. He really is one of the legendary producers in the history of television. He's an inductee into the Television Hall of Fame. He's the author of 3 books, including The Execution, which is on sale, autographed at the back of the facility tonight if you want to buy the book. And he is really the most successful dramatic television producer of all time. Listen to what he has done. He was a writer on Hill Street Blues. He was a producer of Miami Vice. He created the most successful dramatic show of all time, Law and Order. And also, as we celebrate tonight, 2 other creations. Chicago PD and Chicago Fire. Let's take a look.
In this job, regardless what's going on in your life,
it's never too late to find.
you take your effort for 1 second, people can die.
This is just a job. What we have is everything.
What makes them exceptional? No matter how hard they fall, they never give up, and there's something worth fighting for.
NBC Chicago Fire returns Tuesday, February 25th.
Our town belongs to us. We have a right to feel protected on our streets.
You haven't heard her yet. Don't do this.
Our children have a right to never fear their future.
You have been amazing.
We can't hope for safety. It's our job to deliver it.
Let's meet the cast. She plays Officer Kim Burgess, Marina Sequacci. He plays Officer Kevin Atwater, LaRoyce Hawk from Harvey, Illinois. He plays Officer Alec Rustek, Patrick John Flo. He plays Peter Mills, Charlie Barnett. He plays Christopher Herman, David Eigenberg. He plays AKA Otis. He is Yuri Sadargov. He plays Joe Cruz, Joe Manuso. He plays Mooch, Christian Stolte. He plays Detective Alvin Olinsky, Elias Koteas. She plays Detective Aaron Lindsay, Sophia Bush. He plays Jay Halstead, Jesse Lee Sofer. He plays Detective Antonio Dawson, John Seda. He plays Sergeant Hank Voight. Let's say hello to Jason Begay. He plays Matthew Casey, Jesse Spencer. He plays Kelly Samaride, Taylor Kinney. She plays Gabriella Dawson, Monica Raymond. She plays Leslie Shea, Lauren Gearman. He plays Ahmad Walker, or no, he is Walker. Ahmad Walker. And, ladies and gentlemen, Dick Wolf. And now, your moderator for tonight. Since 1990, a fixture at NBC5. Since 1997, the 10 o'clock co-anchor, Allison Rosati.
Woo! Hello, everybody. Is this fun or what? Chicago Fire, Chicago PD, we are so thrilled to have you here tonight. Dick Wolf, what an honor, and what a beautiful tribute to Dick and your standing ovation here tonight. I am so excited to be part of this program, as I know all of you are. Both of these shows not only highlight the greatest city in the world, Chicago, but it really also celebrates the everyday superheroes. And recently on I-94, we watched paramedics and first responders go in and help people who were in a multi-car pileup. And as they came to the news conference and talked about what they had done, in listening to them, they not only go in there and they're problem solvers, they're people who encourage somebody who's in the worst day of their life, and they save lives each and every day. And these amazing actors, with Dick Wolf and what he does in his scripts and his storylines, captures that in a very human way, and it brings it to us each and every week, and we can't thank you enough for celebrating our superheroes. Now, I am so glad on this stage, I don't know if you noticed this, but it's all dark. So if I fall off the stage, I'm just glad there's paramedics and firefighters to help me. I don't know, I may do it on purpose. Okay. So ladies and gentlemen, our first question tonight will go to Dick Wolf, and thank you for coming in for this, Dick. We want to first ask you, and maybe this is a no-brainer, but why did you decide to have both of these shows in the great city of Chicago?
First of all, I just want to say it is great to be here. It is fulfilling a long-time dream to sit up here with this group of actors. Did you know there were this many actors in Chicago? It's truly amazing. And I will tell a little story because I think the PD people will verify it. When we had our first big group meeting, I said, you should really look at the Fire cast to see how well people can operate when it's a true ensemble. And I've done a lot of shows over the years, and nobody is sitting there counting the number of lines on this show that they've got or how many close-ups somebody else got. It's what's best for the show. And the greatest thing is that PD has obviously embraced that ethos, and you're seeing the result on film, that no matter how well it's written or directed, if there is an added element that you can't really quantify of people who like being at work together. And believe me, after the past winter so far, the fact that these people are even speaking to each other is a miracle. So it's a credit to them, it's a credit to the city, and why I'm here is very obvious. When the idea for Fire first started, it was where was it going to be placed, and obviously I'd spent a long time in New York, but Rescue Me had just gone off, and it's a very different show. We don't have ghosts, and it's a half hour versus an hour, but I knew that if we put it in New York, everybody would compare it. And also the values that these shows exemplify and embody are really the values of the heart of America, and that's what Chicago is.
And Dick, if I can, how has it been working with Chicago PD and Chicago Fire, the real guys out there on the street?
Look, one of the reasons that Chicago Fire works is that anytime you see people who are not our cast members taking stuff off of trucks or attaching hoses. They're real off-duty Chicago firemen. It not only adds to the truth of the story, but it makes for really good relations. They understand what we're doing. And Chief Chikarotis, who is our technical advisor, worked with John Roman, who's our line guy in Chicago, for the first time 24 or 5 years ago on Backdraft. So there is a history of professional interrelationships that's been translated on screen. And we've gotten the same support from the PD. And of course, the one that's been sitting on top of all this is your mayor, who has given us really unstinting support from day one. And it makes a huge difference.
Fantastic. Now, this question's for all the actors. You've been quiet long enough. I know you're ready to speak. Dick mentioned it. This has been one of the worst winters in, I can't even remember when it's been this bad. And you guys have worked through the polar vortex. Anybody want to comment on what it's been like working in Chicago during these weather conditions?
Can I would like to say something first. Being from Chicago, how we doing, Chicago? Huh? I'm from this great city, and I must say, as used to the weather as I am, I feel very disrespected this year. I've never been violated this much in my life. This time last year, I only needed one coat. I bought several, and each one just keeps on getting disrespected and punked by the weather, so I just wanted to say that. So thank you, Chicago, for the weather.
Jason, what? Oh, hi. We love all of you. But what was it you were saying during our Google Hangout? What did you call Chicago? What was it? No. I believe he said Chicago's a tough bitch. And this year she's been a real bitch. But we love her anyway. And she's made us all tougher.
Oh, I love it. Okay, for all the actors then too from Firehouse 51, and I know that the police station's just down the street, but this one's gonna go to the firehouse. And how much training do you actually do with real firefighters? Because you guys make it look so realistic. It's so intense. How do you guys do it?
Joe Cruz wants to say something about working with firefighters.
You can feel it? You can feel Joe?
I don't know why he's going to put me on the spot like that. I personally think it's because Kenny has a crush on me, but... I do. Oh, God. What was the question?
The question was, how does your training, with real firefighters, how do you guys make it look so realistic? What do you have to go through?
I think, that goes back to Steve Chikarotis, first and foremost. I think he's been so instrumental in kind of letting us know step by step how we do everything specifically. I know just the other day, me and Jesse actually had to have a separate rehearsal to figure out how to do a cribbing on a car that was very specific that we'd never done before. So we went in there. That's true.
That's really true.
See?
So you know how to do that now.
Yeah, cribbing rehearsal.
So if we are in a crimped situation, you guys are ready to help us out.
We're the guys.
Start crimping,
we are
ladies.
cribbers.
Start crimping.
And I would also say I have to give a quick shout out to Tony Ferraris, who is a real firefighter.
Yeah, he's right there.
Where is he? He's
Squad
right there. One word Tony on Twitter.
Yeah.
Drives the squad rig.
You have to understand, they had to teach him how to drive, not the truck, how to drive. And now he drives the fire truck.
I didn't know. I have a bicycle. That's it. So I didn't even know how to drive.
Did
and
the
so
other
I
actors
started
kind of
learning.
stay clear when you took the wheel?
No, we're in the truck with it.
Nobody wanted to
Well,
be
he's
on the truck
backing
with
us.
us?
I often wonder why they put the lives of the entire cast, the director, both cameramen, and the DP all in one truck while I'm driving. That's a lot of trust. Thank you, Dick.
So this question to Dick
You're
and
not
the
a real
fire actors as well. I'm just wondering, do you guys use stunt people, or does everybody have to do their own stuff? And how hard is it to make it look that realistic when it comes to filming it, Dick?
I am never standing there when they're doing stunts because they'd scare me. I was on the roof one time when Taylor was pitched out over the street, hanging by a wire on a car that was, I don't know if he was trained. He looked. I said, I don't have to see this part. You know, it looks better. No, I'm serious. There's stuff that's pretty out there, especially doing on a weekly basis for television. It's very controlled, but it sure looks scary, and I wouldn't want to do it.
Do you guys get scared? I mean, that's a fair question to the actors. Do you ever get afraid of whatever scene? Or do you just look forward to the next love scene?
I don't know.
I slipped that in there. I slipped it in there.
Yeah. Probably. I don't know. I can't talk for everybody. I think that. Apparently, I can. Hey, Chicago. I think that the action stuff, I mean, for me or us, I think it's good, but it doesn't really, what we really enjoy as actors, I think, is to get into the characters and have those scenes, the relationship scenes with people, reflecting people who we are in those jobs. And they're the ones that fulfill us as actors a lot. But the action stuff is fun. You know, it's good times, but it's hard as well because it's, you
guys have long days. I think people would be surprised in listening to you all talk about your call in the morning is what time do you have to be on, ready to go?
I don't know. If you're a girl, 5.
If you're a girl, why? What are you saying?
It's like a
You
web.
got more stuff going on? Okay.
Thursday
You're
and
just
Friday.
you guys all just wake up this gorgeous, don't you?
I woke up
do.
like this.
They're just beautiful.
It's also not true. The calls were at 10 or 11.
10 or
Thursday
11?
and Friday.
Oh, is that
Later.
true? No. And then they're here tonight, so we want to thank them for staying up late for all of us. Okay, this one's for Jason. We got to hear your voice here. Your character first appeared on Chicago Fire last year. You were a bad guy. We're still trying to figure this out. Now you're running an intelligence unit. Can you walk us through the evolution of Sergeant Voight and give us some insight?
I didn't hear the end of that.
Give us some insight into his many layers. His many layers.
Oh, his many layers.
His many layers.
Everybody thinks he's really complicated. I think he's about the most simple person there is.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, if he's hungry, he eats. You know, he's going from point A to point B. It doesn't matter if you're in the way. I mean, he's very honest, he's direct, he's not duplicitous. I think that's pretty simple.
And Dick, how easy was it to cast his character?
Well, I had an advantage that we did a show 4 years ago called Law & Order Los Angeles. And Jason did the best episode of that series. He played pretty psychotic DEA serial killer. And it was a revelation.
Not much
and there
has
was
changed.
nobody, no, but literally nobody else even entered my mind. I read the script and I said, Jason. And one of those times I was really right.
He's awesome.
Daddy.
Now this next question is for John Seda. Your character also initially appeared. Hello.
So Chicago.
Initially appeared on Chicago Fire, and you're Dawson's brother. So how has it been transitioning between these two worlds?
It's been great. It's been pretty seamless. I think that's the unique thing about these two shows. That kind of stuff happens seamlessly. And I mean, Monica's great on Chicago Fire, and it's great to play her brother, and it's just a great way to be introduced. And I just think it's, like I said, I think it's just something really unique. I have a great time doing it.
And you love coming to work every day, I bet.
Yes, I do.
Yeah. All right. This question back to Dick. So you are also the creator, as everybody knows, of Law & Order and Law & Order SVU. Love it. SVU in its 15th season. That is really something to be very proud of. And there is a first on Wednesday. We understand that Finn and Rollins are going to appear on Chicago PD, and that's at 9 o'clock. Yeah. Are you just hearing about this? Okay. Sit back. There's more. And an assistant, they're going to assist with a sex crime investigation. And I also understand that Sophia's character, Sophia Bush's character, Lindsay, is also going to appear on SVU. And so, Dick, can you tell the audience a little bit about how this is all going to unfold?
Well, it's like when you go to the theater and they show you the trailer with all the good scenes in it. So
Yeah.
there is Sophia shows up at the end of an SVU episode and there's a scene with Mariska that essentially sets up what's going on in the Chicago PD case. And Ice and Kelly come out to Chicago and have about 3 or 4 scenes. It's a pretty major crossover, but it's seamless because they're following each other on the schedule. They're both cop shows. They're both with characters that people identify with, and hopefully some of the people who watch SVU are going to be introduced to Chicago PD.
Yeah, let's talk about that, Sophia. You got to meet Mariska Hargitay. What was it like working with her? Because all the Law & Order SVU fans just love her, and I know everybody's falling in love with you on Chicago PD. But what was it like working with her?
Well, I'm the biggest Law & Order SVU fan, so it was a very surreal experience for me. And the funny thing is, I met her many years ago and babbled incoherently in her face, and she was so nice and just nodded as though she could understand my total hysteria and just wanting to tell her, you know, what an amazing woman and role model and all of these things that she is. And then I walked away and was like, God, I just made such an idiot of myself. Oh, and I'm an actor. I'm supposed to be cooler than this. I'm supposed to meet other actors and be like, hey, I like your work or whatever. I'm not good at that. So I showed back up, and she was just the most gracious, you know, can you believe after that chat we had in Soho all those years ago, we're here? And I was like, Mariska remembers me and doesn't think I'm weird. It's so exciting. And yeah, it's just a very cool experience to work on one of your favorite shows and then have them coming and working on ours. And when does that happen, you know?
And you have such a strong character in Chicago PD, and yet she's so lovely at the same time, but she's definitely a tough cookie.
Yeah, she's a badass. I like her a lot.
I like it. I like it. All right, this question is for Monica. You've been sitting there very patiently, Monica. How are you? Doesn't she look beautiful? She's been up since 4 o'clock this morning. Okay, we know you have a very active social life. You have boyfriends on the show, probably off the show too. Do you enjoy those heavy personal stories playing out as part of the storyline of the show? Do you enjoy those?
Yes.
Yes. How much do you enjoy them?
A lot.
Do you have to rehearse those scenes a lot?
All the time.
You're a lucky girl. You're really lucky. Yeah. Talk about fire. That's been heating up. Nurse Hathaway and Dr. Ross on ER, all I can say is they got nothing on you guys. Good job. All right, so this next question for Monica and Lauren, because you two are adorable together, even though I know you fought for a little while there, but I'm glad you made up.
Hi, baby.
You play paramedics on the show. Does anyone in real life ever confuse the two of you with real paramedics? Do you have any stories to tell of maybe somebody asking you to do a Heimlich maneuver on them, or maybe they're doing that for another reason?
No, that never happens to
That's
me.
never
I
happened?
offer, like on a plane, I'll be like, you look like you're choking, I need to squeeze your body. And they're like, get away from me. Get away from me. I try. They don't go for it.
But do you have people also recognizing you, I'm sure, on the street? How has life changed since you started doing Chicago Fire?
How has it changed, Lauren?
You know, Monica, it really is tough. I'd say, like, maybe once a month, someone goes, "Aren't you that girl on Hostel?" Yeah. I'm like, no, I'm the paramedic on the show. Yeah. No, so I'm okay with that.
No, it's every now and then I get a free cup of coffee.
Really?
That's pretty cool.
That is cool. No first in line or anything like that yet? Or
oh, no.
It's coming. It's coming. Just wait. It's coming. And then, Lauren, your character, Leslie Shea, is gay on the show. And I wanted to ask you if you see yourself as a role model playing this strong, professional gay woman on the show. Do you see yourself as a role model?
You know, I don't know if I am a role model. That's wonderful, and I certainly try to be. But you know, I think I was lucky to be raised in an atmosphere in a home where, you know, people will say, "Is it hard to play someone who's gay, or is it different?" And so for me, love is love. If I were to have, well, I'm so happy you all agree here in the Midwest. That's very nice. So, you know, if I were to walk into a room to shoot a kissing scene, say, with a man, and then in the next room, kissing scene with a woman, for me, there's no difference. There's no stigma. There's nothing awkward. Love is love. I truly believe that. And so, I think I'm really bad at the social media. I really am. I'm such a turbo dork, and I'm such a weirdo. Like, you see me, I look like a witch right now with like hair in my face.
I wasn't thinking witch. I was thinking cool chick. But,
Oh,
you know.
it's sweet. But you know, I try to kind of, you know, just share my beliefs and share things, and I feel so blessed that Dick cast me as, you know, a groovy lesbian chick, and you know, that I get to go on social media and sort of just say, you know, embrace, accept, love. I don't think there's a person who chooses to be gay. That's just my personal belief. And so I really love that people have sort of said, you helped me do this, or your character on the show helped me to do this or that. And I think maybe that, you know what?
You are a role model.
I think I am a
Yeah.
role
I think
model,
she
you
is.
guys.
I think she is. Nice job, Lauren. All right. Chicago PD actors, your turn now. I know we talked with Chicago Fire about spending time with real firefighters. Chicago PD, do you guys get to spend time with real Chicago police officers? And do they give you any good inside info? Anyone? Bueller? Anyone?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, all right, wait. I want to try it one time. Hey, Chicago. Yeah, like Mr. Wolf was saying before, you know, on the fire set, anytime you see somebody pulling something off a truck,
He actually called me Mr. Wolf.
Yes, he did.
I'm sorry.
Jesus.
I'm sorry. I apologize.
Sorry.
I apologize, Dick. Sorry. But every time you see a firefighter on the show pulling something off a truck, it's an off-duty Chicago firefighter. The same goes for our show too. And it gives this like authentic atmosphere that we love, and we're learning constantly, and I don't think that's ever going to stop. And it's a pretty great experience.
All right,
They have
thank you.
Chickarotis, and we have the Luch Man.
Yeah, where is the
Ryan
Luch Man?
Luce. We call him Luch, and he's
He's
a
at the
real
social
guy.
club.
What's that?
That's a whole other story.
The Luch Man. I mean, he's our guy. I mean, there's everything from the tactical side to what I think is even more important is just hearing, you know, the experiences that he's had and these officers have had, and just hearing the stories and what they live with, and trying to bring that to screen. You know, that to me is I think is probably the biggest part of our training and what we have every day.
And for the women on both shows, this question to you guys. You're in an all-male dominated world in both fire and in police. What is that like to play the women? And do you get any response from other women who are firefighters and police officers? Do they say anything to you guys about what you're doing? Or what it's like?
I will shoot this to the boys. Boys, when I'm on set, do you ever feel like I'm more feminine in nature than any of you? No, it's a serious question.
You're probably more of a man than I am, Lauren.
All right. Sophia, did you have anything you wanted to add on that? I thought you might have had a thought going through there.
I mean, Marina, how do we feel about it?
I
Pretty
don't know,
good?
We just rock all the time. We
Yeah.
rock really hard.
We do.
I think, you know, it's hard. I've talked to a couple of female cops, and they talk about sort of the, you know, it's a masculine world, and that you have to sort of put up a front to some extent. And I think you have to prove yourself a little harder, unfortunately, and maybe work a little bit harder and a little bit longer to prove yourself. And I'm okay with that, you know, as long as at the end of the day I'm accepted. I'm all right with that.
Yeah, I have to second that. You know, for better or worse, inherently, yes, when you come into a profession that is dominated by men, people notice when you're a woman. It's hard to miss. And the thing is, when you're good at your job, I think that awareness evaporates very quickly, and you just become one of the boys. And if you guys could hear the things they say in front of us, you would know that they're not intimidated.
They don't consider us women.
Nor do they consider us women. They just really don't.
Okay.
We're also really good with our guns. So there's that.
Sophia is an excellent shot. She outshot us all, which, puts everyone in their place.
Really? Wow, Sophia.
Thanks, boo.
Did you learn how to shoot growing up, or is there a
Jesse's
secret?
steaming right now. He's like, wait a minute.
Jesse, you're
Wait
good
a
too.
minute. Wait, maybe not.
Yeah, I've been shooting since I was 12, so it was
Okay.
fun to show up and
Everybody
be like, yeah,
take
I
note
kinda
of
know
that.
how to do that.
Sophia's packing. All right. Dick Wolf,
Always.
if you could, I know in talking earlier, can you tell us a little bit more, though, about other crossovers that might be happening as we come through this next part of the season? Without giving away too much?
There's a major crossover coming that will be on in May about a situation that will remind people of the Boston bombing, the Oklahoma City bombing. So that's a big, major two-parter with the crossover going from fire to police. The hope here is that over time, people are going to continue to do what we've started to do, which is intermingle effortlessly between the two shows. In actual fact, the precinct that the exterior is in the show and the firehouse, which we use when we're not on the set, are in actual fact a block and a half away from each other. And that's the way Chicago is kind of organized. So having cops and firefighters in the same area know each other is not even a remote stretch, but the hope here is that it's not only going to make perfect sense, your eye isn't going to jump, it's, oh, he's in fire, but he's in PD this week, and vice versa.
So it all makes sense.
Because
Is it
it's
hard
how-
to keep
it's-
track
it's-
of all the characters and all the storylines? I mean, you must have
yeah.
a really big brain.
No, I have an incredible team of people who run these shows. Matt Olmstead, Michael and Derek. Michael's over there, Michael Brandt.
Michael, get up. Where are you? There he is, Michael.
Created Fire is one of the executive producers on PD, and they do the bulk of the writing, and without them, there are no shows. These are obviously heavily dependent on the writing, and if you went into the conference room, you would see these enormous whiteboards for each show, which have the intersecting storylines, and there are basically two major setups for the first 13 every year, and then the back 10 or 11 where everything is broken out months in advance, otherwise it'll be chaos. So it's very professionally run by very talented people that keep all this stuff straight, because you can't do it by winging it. It's just impossible.
You really do have the voice of Chicago Police and Chicago Fire down. I mean, as far as how they get business done and how things are done. And I wanted to ask the crew, in watching your show, obviously sometimes you get, on Chicago PD, you get what you need by making something happen, like saying, hey, isn't that a expired license and whatever, and then all of a sudden you get them to give you the tape of the suspect.
Oh, if only it stopped there.
Oh, yeah. Well, I know Sergeant Voight has more planned for us. But I'm just curious, in real life, do Chicago cops ever cut you guys some slack? Like maybe, you're parked somewhere a little too long, or maybe you did something you weren't supposed to and they kind of looked the other way, or are you not willing to even admit that?
These are all Boy Scouts.
They're all Boy Scouts. Well, they're too tired, right? Because you're working all the time. Oh, wait.
Actually, Soph and I pulled a couple people over by accident the other night.
Did you
Accident.
really?
Accident.
You thought they were actors and you pulled them over?
No, we just happened to have the lights still on when we were going around the block.
They thought
And,
they were
and
really
after
cops.
the first one happened and we realized what we'd done, obviously we did it again.
Of course.
Wait, you guys, Lauren and I did that last week in the ambulance. We put the sirens on because to get through the traffic to get back to set. And so it was like, Lauren, put the alerts on.
We had to get back to set.
Yeah.
We had
and
to
they
get
moved
there quick.
out the way.
Exactly.
I'm sure anyone in the audience want to get pulled over by them. Yeah. See, it's all good. All right, now back to
should think
Chicago
about doing it
Fire.
again.
I want to hear from Chief too. Can you just say a few words for us? Because I just love his accent. And I don't. Can you share with them how to? Okay, first of all, just say something fabulous.
Hello, Chicago.
It just sounds so much more important when you say it with your British accent, and so much smarter. How did you get that fabulous accent into a Chicago accent? How many hours?
Jesse and I, of course, have accents, and there's a wonderful woman here called Tanner Marshall. And we go to her, and we see her, and she helps us become Chicagoans. So,
Everyone
this is
just
how I
melted.
really sound, people. So.
Now, what has been your favorite thing coming into the city of Chicago? Just curious, have you gotten a chance to do anything like go to Wiener Circle, Portillo's drive-thru?
We've been here a couple of years
Malnati's
now
Pizza?
shooting, and we've done pretty much everything. She and I have been to the museum and to the art collections and stuff like that.
See, he goes to the museum. Do you see that?
That makes me quite sad, right? But Chicago has taken us all to its breast, and we're very, very grateful. We're a great team, and the alchemy that we have comes straight down the tube to you, and we're glad of that because it's a two-way street. You give it to us when we're back out on the street, and that's how we know that it's working. So thank you for that.
I know, Dick, you mentioned it earlier, but you all seem to get along so well. Is this the way it is? Oh, look who's here!
Ladies and gentlemen,
Archie.
Archie Kyle. Let's give him some love.
Hi, Archie. See how much they love you. They even came. You just finished shooting, right? We'll let him catch his breath for a second. You just
Yes.
finished shooting?
Yeah, but I hate to miss a party, so I had to make it. So
Ah.
thank you.
I was just asking the chief, but where were you shooting tonight? Can you tell us, or is it a secret?
We were at the stages at the Cinespace Studios.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then, now is this the end of your day then, or are you gonna shoot
Yeah,
some more?
it's the end. Yeah.
How
but
long
I
is
still
your day?
came makeup ready. We just ran right here. So,
Really?
Yeah, this is I'm the beneficiary of their makeup magic. So it's not.
See, nothing like walking into a room and putting him right on the spot. Isn't this fun to see so many people out tonight looking
Wow.
for...
Yeah. Thanks for coming out. This is exciting.
Say hello, Chicago.
Hello, Chicago. And hello, warm weather.
Yeah. For a few minutes, we get to have a little bit of warm weather. I was asking Chief about things that you guys get to do in the city. And another question, I know I've seen a few of you at some sporting events. Does anybody want to fess up to maybe some teams? I mean, are you Blackhawks fans? Yeah? Anybody want to talk about going to a game or anything? Sneaking in?
I guess. Hey guys. I'd say the chief, Jesse, and I, well, the whole gang really. You're hot too. We started going to Blackhawks games last year and ended up having a blast, so we kept going. And I think it was. Excuse me? Yeah, I did. Did I? I don't remember that.
She's followed you from Auckland. Yeah, she's
Hey,
following
Taylor,
you.
what does it feel like to be Justin Bieber?
Yeah, I can't sing. I can't sing.
But you guys like going to games
I
together?
can.
You guys like going
No,
to games together?
I wanted to get back to my Blackhawks story.
Okay, Blackhawks.
So they come and ask Jesse here to shoot the puck, which is, have you been to, what's this? How did he do? He did miss.
Okay, I got right next to it. I've never even seen ice before I came to America, because you gotta give me that. What was that, a stick? I don't know. It was fun.
Getting right next to it isn't like getting it in, though.
No, it was.
Steve Eisenberg.
Tell me about it, stud.
So that was, Jesse held a 9-iron hockey stick, I gave it a shot the next few weeks, and I was wide right and got booed. I was wide left, got booed. And then I hit the board, and I think I still got booed. So if you shoot the puck at a hockey game, you got to make it. Yeah, don't miss. Yeah, don't miss. Eigenberg could make it. That guy will make it.
Yeah, I think you're up next, Eigenberg.
Stick with what you know, brother.
Do you guys, I mean, you're obviously so much fun to be around, but do you guys like to play pranks on each other? I recall interviewing the cast of ER many moons ago, and George Clooney was known for always getting somebody somehow when they least expected it. Any pranksters amongst you? Or do you not have time to pull pranks?
I'm going to out some people. Tony, stand up. Prankster. David, prankster. All right, David's got the most famous one because he ended up nearly going. You went to the hospital? Jeff Hettner, was Clark, to you guys, got him really well. And I think David should tell the story.
Come on, David.
I'll make it brief. I hurt Jeff. I threw him on the ground. There was a crash mat. He missed the crash mat and landed on the concrete. And I giggled. I thought it was funny. And he cried and everything. And called his wife. And then I stole his cell phone. No, so then we finished shooting at like 9 o'clock. And then I called him up at 10 and was like, oh, man. I texted him. I didn't call him. You don't call anybody anymore. I don't know what that's like talking to people. You go, are you okay? And he was like, yeah, I'm at the hospital, blah, blah, blah. This goes on for about 10 minutes. I go, all right, I'm going to come and sit with you. So I go all the way to Northwestern ER, and I walk in there. His name is Hefner, even though I spell it Hefner, because she's dingy. And I keep asking for him, and they're like, how do you spell it? And he's like, did you spell my name right? Anyway, long story short, I had done a gag with him before, and then he told me that if I ever did that to him, well, he basically said, don't ever do that to me again. I'm not at the hospital. Good night. And then it broke my heart, and I never trusted him again.
I got a little something. You don't want to tell him what happened to his cell phone?
No.
No?
I put it in my butt.
Come on, tell it. It's out there. You got to tell it now.
I put it in my butt.
On vibrate? On vibrate?
It was on vibrate. I mean, I cracked it. I didn't, I cracked it.
Oh. Okay, we're losing control.
Are we
Dick, I'm going to throw it
digressing?
back to you right now because we need
go to PD.
We need Dad to take over here. Let's talk a little bit about how tight the shooting is, though, on this show. I mean, you guys don't mess around. In fact, you guys really, we were talking earlier on the red carpet, a little bit about what it takes, the discipline that it takes by all of these actors to come prepared. You start a read, you go through
Well,
a
no,
read-through?
there's a read-through of every script, and sort of the rule is speak now or just say the lines. Because you really, when you're, especially this type of show where the schedules are impossible under the best circumstances, to spend time, which I've done on many shows, discussing a scene and does this work for the character, and this wasn't what I was thinking 6 months ago. You don't have time. That's for the read-through. If you have a problem, talk to the producers in the room and get it solved before you walk on the floor, because it just, if you figure there are 50 scenes a show and you spend 10 minutes discussing each one of them, there'd be no time to shoot. So it's a necessary evil. But these guys are very disciplined. It's a big ensemble, and the best news of all is, I'm looking here, there are no prima donnas. And that's what can ruin shows very quickly. And these guys are all pulling for each other. It's really terrific to see.
playing firefighters, this is Chicago Fire, in playing firefighters, have you had a greater appreciation for what firefighters do each and every day? And can anybody talk about that?
Absolutely. I had no idea how heavy all of that stuff was. And I'm one of the old guys and the knees are going and all that stuff.
You're not old.
But the air tank, and then you're hauling equipment, you're moving up the ladder and all that stuff. And, no matter how cold it gets or how hot it gets, there's a very thin window where that bunker gear, those turnouts are exactly right for the weather. And otherwise, there's a misery quotient just having that stuff on out there. But no matter what, snow, rain, freezing cold, horrible heat, I am out there bravely complaining day in and day out. Thank you, Chicago.
Now, I have to ask this, and I know Molly's is the bar that you guys put together, and it's so much fun to see you guys all having fun together. But do you guys do that after the show ever, just when you're had a great, well, not Molly's, but another bar, maybe, in town that maybe you guys go to and just chill out? Or what do you guys ever hang out together afterwards? Or have you had enough of each other after a full day of shooting?
I mean, Joe and I actually live together still at this point. We got a little bromance going down.
Is that breaking news? Breaking news.
Breaking
you guys
news,
live together.
breaking news.
I feel like we've let the world know that.
Yeah, so many times. It's
I
like-
mean, we used to live with Yuri too, but he decided that he was
Yuri's
too
good
important
for
for
us,
us, and
guys.
he moved out.
He moved on out.
I got a cat,
Moving on.
and she just doesn't like company.
I hate cats.
How about Chicago PD? Can you respond to that question too, in looking at your lives now after you've experienced what it's been like as an actor to be a police officer? Do you appreciate more what police actually go through? And I know there was that old documentary, or not documentary, movie, The Thin Blue Line. Just sometimes it's hard to tell what really is good from bad.
We're together a lot.
No, I mean, do you guys?
Yeah.
We're together. I mean, we spend countless hours together, right?
Well, yeah.
About
Yes.
being a
Wait. First
respect for
question,
a-
then
for
second.
police?
But
So
yes,
the first question is, do you appreciate what
Sorry.
police officers go through in a different way now that you've actually played the part?
Yes. And we
That's why
spend
I
a lot
don't
of time
talk.
with them too.
We spend a lot of time together appreciating cops. We're just like, oh wow, cops are amazing. We just combine the two. We don't
It
separate.
we had a very, sort of odd experience because we started filming for PD in August, but we started airing in January, and it got to a point where I was getting really irrationally emotional around real cops, and people had to be like, stop! They don't know you play a cop yet, and if you just hug police, you're gonna get arrested. You look like a crazy, high person. So I was, I go and check in at the airport now, and I'm like, hey, how's your day? You're awesome. You are just so great. And it's starting to get less weird. Slowly.
Okay, that's good. All right, and then I will let you then answer. Do you guys like to then go out after you've been shooting? You're already nodding yes. What do you guys like to do together? Do you go karaoke?
That's happened, yeah. We're bowling. We went and watched Elias over here in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles
Yes.
last week.
Casey Jones.
Midnight showing at the Music Box.
No, we have a good time together. And back to the cop thing, honestly, with these guys, the best thing that we learn is what they go home with, all right? I mean, I think that that's the most important thing. It's not about all the running and gunning and kicking in doors. It's more about the things that they deal with every day that they go home to their families. And, yeah, felt like I needed to say that. That's why I don't talk.
I think.
We're glad you did.
I'm gonna let me add something. Let me add something. We've
Okay.
been filming a couple of years now, and we've got some great relationships with the firemen of Chicago, and they're really close. And the things that firemen do outside of being firemen and outside of taking care of their families and stuff, there's all sorts of charities and things that they're involved with. They're really involved in the community, and they have pulled us all in. So all joking aside, David and I, the other day, we gave a speech at the Honor Guard, what it was like to shoot on Chicago Fire. And the Honor Guard are the guys that when a fireman is lost, the Honor Guard are the guys who make sure that the family have some form of closure. They do the flag, they do the coffin. everybody turns out in their full blues. And it was an honor to be a part of that. So that's the reality of, doing this job, is you get affected by being around these people. So thank you, Tony, for being part of this.
And excuse me, I don't want to be too long with this comment because we've talked about it for a while now. But I think what's important to me is because I'm from Harvey, Illinois, where cops were.
I think all of Harvey is here. All of Harvey is here.
Thank you, Harvey. Is my grandma? That's my grandma. No, but seriously, the cops, especially where I'm from, they don't really have the best reputation, and I've experienced that firsthand in a lot of different ways. And so for me to play a policeman that has integrity, that treats people the way that they should be treated, it's especially special for me going back home, and I can go, see the little homies on the block, and they can look up to a person and they don't have to look at a cop and turn the other way because cops where I'm from disrespect people. And so to show a cop in a very, very respectful manner is important to me. And I just want to thank Dick for giving me that opportunity to be that kind of role model in my community. That definitely means a lot.
And I know we want to open it up to the audience for questions. So if you would like to ask a question, you can line up behind the two microphones. I'll give you a few minutes. And we're taking questions about the show. Go ahead and line up and be brave. Now, Dick, when you talk, go ahead.
I just want to go back to the firefighters for 1 second.
All right, everybody, let's
the bottom line that you should never forget, you can't pay people to run into burning buildings.
It takes very special people who can do that. Yeah. Well said. All right. And go ahead and ask your first question.
Sure. My question's for Sophia. Hi.
Hello.
You played Brooke Davis, obviously, for 9 years. Flawlessly, by the way. And I was just wondering if it's fun or challenging for you to kind of navigate the waters of a new character after playing the same one for so long.
Yeah, I mean, it's exhilarating. And I'm working with Dick Wolf, so score for me. Who's a creative idol of mine and now is my coworker. And, that's our job as actors. We're chameleons. We play different people. We experience different things. Jesse Spencer and I have talked about this because he had such a long and amazing run on House. And I think it's why you try to go and jump into a small film or something on your breaks, as so many people are here, even, you guys in your second season. But that's what we do. We love to tell stories, and for me here, I feel like I'm telling the truest story I've ever told. So there's no greater place for me than to be here with all of these lovely and unfortunately unattractive people.
Okay, next question. Thank you, Sophia.
Mr. Wolf, it's such an honor to meet you in person. 32-year career in law enforcement with the Schaumburg Police Department. I recently retired as the chief of police just this last April. 2 comments and a question. My perception of the show is that you guys deal with real life story situations, whether it be union activities, downsizing, the closing of a firehouse, personal relationships in the workplace. And I think that is a very important part of the job and the stressors that have been commented on about what police and fire personnel have to deal with. I know you mentioned about your technical support, but where does all that input come from?
In terms of the storytelling?
Yeah, the storytelling. I know your writers must consult with.
Well, they spend, as the actors have said, the writers have spent, especially Michael and Derek and Matt, have spent a lot of time with police and fire people and have gotten a lot of stories directly from them. That, to give you one example, none of us are going to come up with rescuing a guy who's fell down a 30-foot chimney and how you're going to get him out. And by the way, thank you for your service, and you don't look like a police chief.
It's my retirement look, and I also brought my daughter along, who is a graduate of Berkshire School with Elliot.
Congratulations.
He's having a really good time at Penn. I hope you are too, wherever you are.
Thank you. It's an honor. Thank you.
Dick, if I could just ask you, where do you get your enthusiasm, inspiration, your zest? I mean, you've got a book coming out. You've got the
out.
show. It's out. Okay, you have a book out. I'm sorry, I misread that. Cold Justice, also doing very well. The book is The Execution. How do you manage your time? How do you keep all of that going?
Well, I'm really fortunate that I don't have to actually go into an office that much. I work mostly from home. I've got little kids, which I'd like not to make the same mistakes I made with the older ones by not being there. And literally, my standard response is when people say, "Where are you?" talking to you. That it is a miracle compared to 15 years ago. You know, if they come up with holograms, the whole thing will be solved because you can communicate instantaneously with anybody anywhere in the world today. And frankly, you know, you get waylaid if you go in. There are dozens of meetings that could take place, and you know, I'd rather really spend time on substantive stuff. Most of us have been working together. Arthur, where are you? Arthur Forney right
Arthur,
there
stand
has
up.
here directing some pickup scenes, but I think there are 3 of us who've actually seen every episode of Law & Order in every show we've made over the last 22 years, and one of them's Arthur. And when you've been working with people for 2 and 3 decades, it makes a huge difference. Pam has been my publicist for about the same time, 20 years.
And Pam is wonderful. She walked us through everything today. Well done.
But, you know, Danielle Gelber, who's sitting at one of the executive producers, I first worked with at Fox 20 years ago when we did New York Undercover.
So long relationships a key too, you think?
I think it's-
managing your time and sharing, you know, finishing each other's sentences,
I
that
couldn't
kind of thing?
do what I'm doing or anywhere near it if I was just starting from scratch every show. And I think with no thanks to me, the result is pretty obvious. I think our shows, I think the 3 shows on NBC, there is nothing in my mind better. You may not like, that may not be your taste, but I don't think anybody is making any better episodic television than this. And if
We know it's awesome. #1 in Chicago. Chicago Fire and Chicago PD. And we love that too, coming into our 10 o'clock broadcast. So our producers, when I left the tower tonight, said to say thank you personally to Dick Wolf for
They're
giving
more
us
than
such great
welcome.
ratings. Thank you. And to all of you as well for making it happen. All right, next question.
This question is for everyone. Obviously, you guys, after filming here, you probably already know the rivalry between the Cubs and the Sox. So after you guys mentioned the Blackhawks, have you guys catched a baseball game? If so, which one do you guys prefer watching?
Hands. How about if we raise hands? Sox fans, hands up. Southside. What? All right, Cubs fans.
Boo.
So, Red Sox fans? What are we talking here? Anybody else? What? Redbirds?
Red Sox
Dodgers,
used
baby.
to
Cardinals?
train in my hometown.
Cardinals?
I gotta say. Red Sox used to train in my hometown of Florida. I'm
Okay.
a big fan of the Red Sox. I mean, I haven't been to a game yet. I'm sorry, I have to apologize.
So I
here.
think we're safe to go with Hawks. How about Bears? Did anybody get to a Bears
The
game?
Bears.
Yeah? All right. All right. We're going to get there. We're going to
But
get back
the
to
White
Super
Sox are the
Bowl.
best baseball team in Chicago. I just wanted to say that. I go to Cubs games only to wear my White Sox stuff and make people angry.
All right. All right. Who's next? One more question? I'm sorry. Okay, one more question.
Hi. Growing up, a lot of people or a lot of boys like to be police officers. A lot of females like to be paramedics, and you know, I was wondering, growing up, did you guys always want to be actors or actresses, or did you consider roles that you're playing currently? And if you did, is it a dream to be able to play those roles and kind of do a dual job?
I actually always wanted to be an actor and an FBI agent. So now I'm kind of doing both.
Perfect.
And it worked out great.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's show some love for Chicago Fire and Chicago PD and Dick Wolf. Thanks to all of you for coming out. You can catch Chicago Fire Tuesday nights, 9 o'clock NBC5, Chicago PD Wednesday nights, 9 o'clock NBC5. You guys are gorgeous. It was such an honor and a pleasure to share the stage with all of you. Dick Wolf, congratulations. Thank you very much for being here.
For being here tonight, and I understand that Dick Wolf has a presentation that he's going to make to the museum, and Dick, I'll let you tell everybody exactly what it is.
Well, this is a Chiefs hat, and as you can see, there are a couple of signatures that we're going to be putting on here, but it's initially signed, and this is, many of you will recognize this from Chicago PD. It's Jason Begay's favorite piece of wardrobe.
Well, thank you very much.
And thank you, Chicago. It is great being here.
Thank you very much. One more time. Chicago Fire, Chicago PD, Dick Wolf, thank you. Thanks very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. John, thanks very much. Appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I'm sorry you didn't get a question. Thank you. Thanks very much. I'm Bruce Good on the pleasure.
In this job, regardless what's going on in your life,
It's never too late to find.
you take your eye off it for 1 second, people can die.
This is just a job. What we have is everything.
What makes them exceptional? No matter how hard they fall, they never give up, and there's something worth fighting for.
NBC Chicago Fire returns Tuesday, February 25th. Our town belongs to us. We have a right to feel protected on our streets.
You haven't heard her yet. Don't do this.
Our children have a right to never fear their future.
You have been amazing.
We can't hope for safety. It's our job to deliver it.